In this video, we're going to have a look at how to resolve a set of simultaneous equations algebraically using the elimination method. So the first step in using the elimination method is going to be to rearrange the equations if required. It'll be required if we don't have a variable with the same coefficient in front of it. So one of our variables need to have the same coefficient. It can either be a positive or a negative number, but it needs to be the same number. If we don't have a variable with the same coefficient, we then need to rearrange or we need to change the equation to be able to ensure that we've got that coefficient. So we might need to multiply each of those terms in the equations on both sides by the same number to be able to change the coefficient in front of one of the variables. So the next step will be to decide if we're going to add or subtract the equations together to be able to combine them. The third step is then to combine the equations together by either adding or subtracting, depending on what we decide in step 2. The next step is to solve the combined equation that we formed in step 3, and then that will give us the value of one of our variables in the original equations. Step 5 will then be to substitute in that known value into one of the original equations to find the value of the second variable. And once we have the value of both variables, the final step is to write the answer. So that is a summary of the steps required to be able to complete the substitution method. Now we'll go ahead and have a look at an example. So in the example, I want to solve x plus y is equal to 7, 5x minus y is equal to 17 using the elimination method. So my first step is to see if I need to rearrange any of my equations. And I can see that I've got a plus y in my first equation, and I've got a negative y in my second equation. So both of those have a coefficient of 1, so I don't need to rearrange my equation. My next step is to decide if I'm going to be adding or subtracting. Now, because I've got a plus y and a negative y, to be able to eliminate those when I combine them, I need to add my equations together. My next step is going to be to combine my two equations by adding them together. So I'm going to start off with my first equation and looking at the left-hand side, I've got an x plus y. And then having a look at the left-hand side of my second equation, I've got a 5x minus y, which I'm going to combine by adding. So it's going to be plus, and then in brackets, 5x minus y. And that is going to be equal to, now I need to add my right-hand side of both equations. So that is going to be 7 plus 17. Next, I'll go ahead and remove my brackets. So it's going to be x plus y plus 5x plus negative y, so minus y, is equal to 7 plus 17, which is 24. So when I go ahead and simplify and collect my like terms, my plus y and my negative y are going to cancel each other out. So that will leave me with 6x is equal to 24. That is the point of being able to combine the two equations. When I combine them, I eliminate one of my variables, and that leaves me with one variable that I can then go ahead and solve. So to solve the value of x, I need to get x by itself. So 6x, to get x by itself, I'm going to divide by 6. What I do to one side, I need to do to the other side. So I'm dividing both sides by 6. So x is going to equal to 24 divided by 6, which is equal to 4. So now that I know that x is equal to 4, I can go ahead and substitute that back into one of my original equations. And I'm going to choose x plus y is equal to 7, because that is the simpler equation. So x plus y is equal to 7. Substituting in my value of x is equal to 4. So 4 plus y is equal to 7. To be able to solve that, I need to subtract 4 from both sides. So y is going to be equal to 3. So now I've got a value for both of my variables. X is equal to 4, y is equal to 3. So I can write my final answer of 4 and 3. So the solution, or the intersection point, of my original equations are going to be x is equal to 4, y is equal to 3. So that is an example of how to resolve a set of simultaneous equations using the elimination method.